Don't you know that this stuff is filled with backward messages?
Eat Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza backwards. Hail to the crash.
See?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Midwest Scumbags. I'm Elliot. He's Skyler. I'm kicking right off with a question. I keep hearing about these current events. I keep hearing Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, right? And you know, I just have to say, I have to put this out there. I don't think Baldur did anything wrong. What do you think, Skyler?
Baldur did not do anything wrong. No, he didn't.
I feel that Baldur will not divide us. And
What'd he do? All he did was make a gate.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, what, like Watergate, that was obviously fake, you know. Russiagate, fake. Pizzagate, that one's the real one out of the series of gates. But I think Baldur's Gate is another false flag, dude. It's just one of the, or Gamergate, that was one of them, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. What did gamers do wrong there? They were raping and stuff.
Gamers have done nothing wrong in all the
Gamers
entirety of history. They're the most oppressed minority. We've talked about this before. But yeah, no, I don't think Baldur did anything wrong.
Yeah. That was my joke for the opening. I was like, Baldur's Gate. We call everything Gate now, and because of Watergate. No.
Right? Yeah, because we're human. We're not original with anything.
Yeah.
Whenever it's a big conspiracy, it's some kind of gate.
Yeah, I haven't played any of it. I know you're working on it a little bit. So, and I've heard that it's buggy still, and that they're it's still a new release. So it's like it's not a perfect game by any metric.
But it's also the best video game ever released, ever.
Goddamn.
By a wide margin.
Damn. I keep seeing YouTube videos of I haven't been watching them, but like when it first came out, there was like YouTube with like the thumbnail, and it was like Blizzard and CD Projekt Red and Activision attack Baldur's Gate, blah blah blah, and I was like,
oh yeah, bullshit? Because a bunch of fucking devs on Twitter were getting their panties in a bunch, being like, and it was also like EA, BioWare, and stuff too, like. This is a it's a rarity. This isn't what you should expect from the genre, even though it's like almost a genre defining game because of just how much love has been put in. You can tell that there's been a lot of effort put into it as a RPG where you are allowed to play as, a character that you can role play as and pretty much do what you want. I mean, you're not pigeonholed into, it's not like, and I love Mass Effect. I'll preface this by saying I love Mass Effect, but you're kind of pigeonholed into either just being pure Renegade or pure Paragon. I mean, you can't do both. Yeah, there's no
gray area.
Yeah, you can't have a gray, I mean, you can technically, but you lose out on all the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
In this, there's no black and white. There's no black and white in Baldur's. I mean, there's black and white, but you can kind of pick and choose. You can for example, you could just if you don't like one of the companions they've made for you, you can just kill them. You can just fucking sick. Push them off a cliff and have them be dead for the rest of the game.
That's fucking awesome! Holy shit! Oh man, I love it. I haven't watched any of those YouTube videos, but I did see one thing, some post somewhere that was just hey, this is cool that Baldur's Gate 3 released and it's not full of microtransactions and it doesn't have a whole bunch of paid DLC planned, and it's you pay the $60, $70 up front and you have a full ass game, and that was what I thought that devs were mad about, because it's oh, you can't milk this for hundreds of dollars like we do with other AAA titles. I thought that was the main gist of their butt hurt over
It absolutely is. And, there's no battle pass. There's no, it's it has, the multiplayer is completely done, finished, and there's no, incentives to, boost your character or anything like that. It's just a pure, RPG, just CRPG, computer role-playing game.
Yeah.
And no bells and whistles.
Completely on 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes,
it's
5e.
Legitimately the current game that people are playing tabletop wise, it's that game in computer form, from what I understand. Or from what I've, seen of Dice.
As much as it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot of freedom in what you can do and what you can't do, but there's more stuff that you can do. Like I said, if you don't like one of the characters they made for you, can just fucking kill them if you want. You know. And there is an option to resurrect them, but you don't have to do that. You can just completely have these people that were made for the story. You could just kill them and not have them be a part of it at all. On top of that, all the spells and stuff, there's different ways you can approach combat and different, the dialogue trees and everything. Everything is based on a D20 system. So if you're talking to somebody and you want to try and persuade them to give you a little... you want them to give you some gold or something, you can be like, oh, I'll deceive you or I'll persuade you, and then it's based on your stats, and you roll a d20. There's actually a system for karmic dice, so if you have a series of bad rolls, then it'll kind of give you a gimme.
Oh, that's nice.
And it can work in your, not in your favor too. So if you have a bunch of good rolls, you'd get a bad roll, and that works with combat too. If you're hitting a bunch of crits or whatever, then maybe you'll have a bunch of crit misses.
Oof, that's brutal. That's God, dude, I'm so fucking excited for it. I want to get it so bad. It's been on my wish list on Steam for a year now, at least. If somebody wants to buy it for me out there, you totally can. I will not say no. I'll put my my Steam account in
fucking Venmo with the fucking link for the episode. Yeah. It's a good example of a just a good like you said, a completely finished game. They had a beta that they let people play in so they could figure out some of the bugs and shit. You don't see that nowadays with video games.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's some early access bullshit that is a game that's not complete, but they still charge you $60 for it.
Yeah, and it's then clearly a ripoff of some other game.
It's a sad state that the world of gaming is in, because you go back to whatever the mid 2000s. I think of mid 2000s as my peak gaming era, the PS2 and the Xbox 360 and whatever, and you would pay $60 and you would pray that the game was feature complete by then.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, then that was what you got. That was it, Especially for the PS2 era and earlier, you paid for, you got what you got.
Yeah, it wasn't it was a pain in the ass to hook up your PS2 to the internet. So I know I've talked about EverQuest Online. That was the PS2 EverQuest, but it was you had to have a whole fucking system. It wasn't until the late PS2 that it even had an Ethernet port built into it, and then it was even then imagine running a game at a couple megabytes per second max RAM, compared to what we do now. It's brutal. But that's good. I'm glad that you're enjoying Baldur's Gate, because...
Oh yeah, I'd highly recommend it to anybody that enjoys that type of game. Even if you like Mass Effect or Dragon Age or stuff like that, it's a serious callback to the OG of those versions of games. Especially I get a lot of Dragon Age vibes from it, the Dragon Age Origins.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it
Like,
feels
oh,
like.
I loved Dragon Age Origins. I never finished it, but I put so much time into that game and never beat it, which is so weird, but that game rocked, though. It was so good.
Mm.
I didn't finish any of the Dragon Age games, actually. I rented Dragon Age 2, I think. I think I mentioned that one time. And then,
Dragon Age 2 is ass. That was like
yeah.
EA really coming down and just cucking fucking BioWare. That was like the beginning of the end of the golden age of BioWare, because you had Mass Effect 2, which was really good, but it was I wouldn't say a downgrade, but they definitely got rid of a lot of the streamlined. Yeah, they got rid of a lot of the systems that made it more of an RPG, sci-fi adventure.
Yeah,
And
but you could bang Chuck's girlfriend in Mass Effect 2, and that was awesome.
yeah, that rocked.
I wish I knew that actress's name off the top of my head, but she's a cutie.
Which one was that? Was that the bald chick?
Miranda.
Oh, Miranda, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the bionic chick. I can't remember her name. The one with
Jack?
the Jack, yeah.
Yeah, no, she had a shaved head, which made me think that, I was like, that's a girl with a shaved head? That's more like a boy to me, no thanks. That was my thought at the time playing it. Because, I'm a trad Chad, and I think that girls have to have long hair and boys have short hair. That's just that's just how things go. And you couldn't, like, Mass Effect 1, I think I got with Liara, and then, like, Mass Effect 2, she wasn't around, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get with the chick from Chuck. And then the Mass Effect 3, I think I went back to Liara after that, and I felt really bad. And I was like, she was working for Cerberus, and they were kind of bad guys. And
they were bad. Well, they were like in 2, they were kind of not bad guys, but in 3, they were explicitly bad guys.
Yeah,
it was like, there was really bad writing. Because it was like, it went from, the elusive man's like kind of, he's kind of this gray area kind of dude, but he's also bad still. But not, like, super bad. But then in 3, they go and he's just a complete fucking terrorist and has a cool ninja assassin come after you. And
yeah. And his path, I think, was like it was like subjugation or whatever was his, at the end of his thing. It was just like bow down to the Reapers and... Right?
Oh yeah, because he wanted to, like, take the giant Reaper human hybrid thing at the end of the game, and he wanted to take it and study it.
Oh, he was like the control path, I think. It was like blue, where he was like, he wanted to, instead of like saving humanity, it was like, oh, you become the Reapers now. That was like his
basically
goal.
Yeah, he wanted to like transcend humanity.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah, meh. I mean, I've replayed the games recently, and they were good. 3 is definitely the weakest of the trilogy. 2 being the strongest, I think. And 1, I think the Legendary Edition actually kind of makes 2 the second best. Just because of how they redid the combat and everything. Because the worst part of 1 was the combat.
Yeah, the combat was pretty rough.
Because they were still trying to do the Dragon Age thing in it, and it just did not work because they were obviously doing a Gears of War type deal.
Yeah, it was a cover. It was like they wanted to do a cover shooter, but they didn't like break away from the Dragon Age stuff yet. So it was a weird hybrid at the time. Fucking the whole complete set keeps going on sale for like $15, and I'm like, man, that's tempting. You get all 3 Mass Effects plus Andromeda, but I doubt I ever play Andromeda.
I haven't even touched it.
Yeah, I've heard like nothing good about it. I've seen the facial animations and like I don't know what they were doing with this.
It's supposed to be better now. It's all that stuff is supposed to be fixed. All like the facial animations and everything. All that's supposed to be fixed, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was kind of just a cash grab.
Yeah. Jeez. Fucking EA.
Yeah. I always think of that comic of where it's like EA and they like it's some like indie company and they're like, "Oh, yes, father. Why are you taking me into the woods?" And he's like, "Just follow me." And then like he's like the indie company is looking at this pit full of other dead indie companies and EA has a gun to the back of its head. Because that's what they did. That's what they did throughout the 2000s. They just bought up all these like small indie companies that were, you know, putting out great games, and then they bought them out and forced them to put out shit, and then they closed them down.
Brutal. God. What kind of leg do they have to stand on to criticize Baldur's Gate? How dare they? How dare they?
I mean, didn't the dude that make God of War, the new God of War, didn't he shit on something last year? He was shitting on some kind of RPG game. Was it Elden Ring? It was Elden Ring. They were shitting on Elden Ring last year because they were like, well, this, you know, you shouldn't hold this up to the standard because this is an anomaly, you know, because it's a feature complete game you get for $60 and you don't have to buy microtransactions. There's no battle pass and
yeah,
there's there's PvP in the
only.
game, but you don't have to, you know, like keep playing every single day just to make a fucking experience bar go up so you get some cosmetics and shit.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Elden Ring rocks. We can talk about it now, right?
Oh yeah, moratorium lifted on
Yeah,
we even said the name because we said we weren't gonna say the name of it because we talked about it so much when it came out because it's such a good game. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what FromSoft did. I mean, FromSoft is a genre-defining studio, and I will fight anybody that wants to, you know, debate that because they are. Like, maybe Demon Souls went under the radar when it first came out, but you can't deny that when Dark Souls fucking hit the scene, like, after that, everything changed. Like, games were all compared to it.
Yeah.
Just
like,
the
it
combat.
literally, I mean, Souls-like is a genre of game now, that because of Dark Souls. Like, yeah. I remember when Dark Souls came out, because I didn't know anything about it. When it came out it was like around the same time as Skyrim too, but it was like, everybody talked about Skyrim for a good couple weeks, but it was like, during the height of that, like, one of the dudes in high school was telling me about Dark Souls, and I was like, what the fuck? This sounds amazing. Like, what the hell? Everybody's talking about Skyrim, and I mean, Skyrim was great. Yeah, fantastic, but like, what has Elder Scrolls done in the last 20 years besides make Skyrim for every console? Nothing. But what has FromSoft done? Hit after hit after hit.
Really, they have. Yeah, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring. I mean, everything they've made has been like just the golden standard for that type of game, and everything's compared to it. I mean, I compare, you know, I've even compared Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild, but, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to it, just in terms of, you know, it's an action RPG where you're kind of given freedom to do whatever you want and build your character however you want, but God, the Souls, they just go above and beyond. I mean,
it's
amazing,
it, dude.
They really have,
stoked. Yeah. I see trailers for what's it called? Armored Core. Armored Core 6 Fires the Rubicon or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're making that. So I keep seeing that, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew more about Armored Core, because it looks fucking sick. Just mechs. Wish I got
Yeah,
more into mech stuff.
Yeah, I never... The only Armored Core game I ever played was whatever was on a PS1 demo disc I got from Pizza Hut when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure that was like the first Armored Core game I played, and I had no idea what was going on.
Man.
But it looks sick as fuck.
New
It looks
York
really cool.
slice.
I think of those like Pizza Hut commercials where it was like they had Crash and Spyro in them.
Yeah.
Everything was mainly Crash Bandicoot that they had repping Pizza Hut back in the 90s. And it was just the obvious dude in a mascot suit.
Oh yeah, with the and he was in the giant suit, and he would run around and do whatever silly thing was going on. Yeah. Man, that's a good one. I wish I liked Pizza Hut better, but their pizza sucks dick. They can they can make all kinds of PlayStation games, and they can sponsor an entire anime series. Code Geass was like made by Pizza Hut. God damn,
Are you serious?
Terrible. It wasn't made by them, but it was like, if you ever watch Code Geass, like Pizza Hut is like prominently featured in every episode. Like,
I never noticed.
It's crazy. It's like because in a lot of anime, you know, they don't have the rights to stuff, but like Japan's so commercialized with American stuff, like you'll see cigarettes that are like Marlboro, but it's like Marlboro.
Oh yeah,
W,
yeah,
or
right.
like, you know, McDonald's, it's like WickDonald's, because they can't use the real trademark, but like, you know what they're talking about. But Code Geass was just like, it's Pizza Hut, and it literally had like Pizza Hut, the logo, and they were eating pizza all the time. That's what they did. So they pretty much made that show, but but their pizzas, I just can't. I can't eat their pizza, man. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. It's like the crust or something.
I haven't had it in many, many years now.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say. I used to like it when I was a child, but I was a child and I didn't know any better.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. When you're a child, your taste buds are just like, oh, this isn't peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner. Hell yeah, this is awesome.
I think it was also because like going to Pizza Hut was like an experience, because I lived in a very, very small town. So if we wanted to have fast food, we had to go, like, you had to drive like 20, 30 minutes into the big town nearby that had, you know, it had like a Walmart and, you know, small Midwest living.
Yeah,
so you
a town that had more than like the family-owned hardware store, and which is also a bait and tackle shop, which was also sort of a general store.
Yeah, a co-op,
one.
like a co-op. It was just like where farmers would go, and they would have like a little mini general store in there where they'd only carry maybe 5 or 6 different cartons of cigarettes, because that was all the people around there would smoke.
That's all that they would buy. So it's like they just, you know, bought exactly what they would sell to people.
Yeah. That was the kind of town I grew up in. So yeah, going to Pizza Hut and sitting down eating was like a big deal. And Pizza Hut rocked because they gave out PS1 demo discs.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of people our age would remember, because they gave them out like they were candy. It was just like if you got a meal, they would give you a fucking demo disc.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great marketing, because it was like, I think it was before the Xbox was even out. It was like, hey, here's the PlayStation. Get off that Super Nintendo. Get off the cartridges. Get on discs. Discs are where it's at. And then, yeah.
And you get a solid, like, 6 to 8 hours of content. I mean, I was young. I was very young, so I pulled, like, you know, 20 plus hours out of those discs. Even on the games. Like, I remember specifically playing, like, games nobody would think of, like Hidden Fencer Musashi and Armored Core. I remember playing the fuck out of the Gran Turismo demo, and
hell yeah,
I would just wreck my car, and it would make me laugh so fucking hard, because it would do like the slow-mo replay of your car wrecking, and it was just so funny to me.
Yeah, that was the fun I got out of. There was a Burnout game on GameCube that I got. that I played, and that was the best part of the game. It was, you just crash your car in like a fiery, crazy way, and then it would do the slow-mo of like, this is your dude crashing and running over people. I don't know if you actually ran over people, but it was destructive and it was fun. But that was, GameCube. That was way later on. We're talking PS1. I don't know if I ever got any PS1 demo discs, but I definitely got PS2 demo discs of like, no, I definitely had
like PlayStation Underground.
Yeah,
like the magazine.
Yeah, and like Jam Pack.
Oh yeah, Jam Pack. Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
first played Jak and Daxter.
Yeah. Jak and Daxter demo was on there. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger was on there.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, dude. I never actually played the full game of it, but I played that demo of it, and I was like, this is a cool game. I remember playing the demo of Jak and Daxter for 1,000 times over, and then...
Yeah, because it was just that, like, intro area where fucking Daxter gets turned into the Ottsol or whatever.
Yeah.
That's, like, all it was just that intro area, and I was like, oh my fucking god, this is what video game... That blew my mind. Blew my fucking mind when I was a kid. Like, the transition from PlayStation to PlayStation 2 was insane.
Oh, it was huge. It was crazy. Oh, man. I wish I could go back in time and just relive just that part of my childhood. Everything else in my childhood I don't give a fuck about. Like, I was a fat piece of shit little sad boy. Like,
Well, sure, but you had video games, and video games make everything better.
Yeah.
I think the whole, like, the premise of this episode is that video games rocked back then, and you didn't have to deal with bullshit like battle passes or paying $20 for a fucking, like I booted up Overwatch the other day, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's check out the skins and whatever they have. It's like, well, I want this skin, but it's $20 fucking dollars, and of course they don't sell just a $20 thing. You can either buy, like, you can get like $17 worth, or you can get $25 worth. So you end up with less than you need, and you can still get some stuff. You can get like an epic skin, or you can buy more, and you can get the legendary skin, but then you have 500 left over, which isn't enough to get like anything else except for skin, or, sprays or emotes or whatever. So then you're incentivized to buy more. So then you're incentivized to buy that $17, that extra $17 whatever pack, so you can get another legendary. It's such predatory bullshit, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate the state of video games right now. I really do.
It's gross. It's terrible.
I mean, I'm so glad there's stuff like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate being the most recent example. Tears of the Kingdom, even though it's Tears of the Mid, kind of, after I've played so long. I'm still glad that it's a feature complete game that I've sunk 100 hours into it, but at least I don't have to fucking spend an extra $30 to $40 to feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it. Diablo 4, I've been hearing just terrible things about it, even though it was sucks.
It was really hyped up when it came out. Like, I heard a lot of people talking about it, and I was like, wow, okay, maybe it is pretty good, but that,
it doesn't compare to what it used to be.
Yeah, that Diablo 2, you got me that Diablo 2 and 3 pack, and I downloaded Diablo 3 because I was like, I'm gonna start playing this again, and I haven't, but I'm going to eventually. But I mean, Diablo 2 fucking rocks, dude.
It rocks,
so
yeah.
So
even
good.
Just the like small bit that we've played of it, and there's even once you beat the game, there's like nothing more. I mean, there's more after it, but you don't have to constantly grind. It's not like there's a seasons that you have to do, like in the new Diablo, that you have like the season of mastery, so you get one character up and you max it out, but then the next season you have to start over.
What?
Yeah,
that's some fucking bullshit, dude.
I mean, I think you have like a main character that you can just play single player, but that's not what Diablo's about. It's about the multiplayer part of it and teaming up with people to do stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it myself. Maybe it's not like that, but I know that you have to like restart every season on that like ladder or whatever it is.
That would make me furious. I would be so mad.
But that's what like all games are like now. Well, not all games, but like all the popular ones. And there's seasons, there's battle passes, there's cosmetics, there's loot boxes. So gambling.
Ugh. It's disgusting. Makes me sick. That's the kind of shit you don't put up with once you become Elden Lord.
No.
Which you have become Elden Lord, right?
I did, yes. I finally did.
Damn.
That's why we lifted the moratorium, as I finally beat Elden Ring tonight, as of this episode.
Fuck. Congratulations, dude. I bet it feels amazing.
It was good. It was very good. It was almost as good as sex.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you can't really compare the two, but my God, Jesus Christ, that fucking like endorphin rush you get after seeing the it was like after I beat the final boss, it was like God slain. It was like fuck, and I just so good, so good,
man.
And I'm sure people get that from games like Overwatch and stuff. Like when you get a really beefy, like you use your ultimate, the exact perfect moment, you get like a 4 or 5 kill, and you're like, oh, fucking nut.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it's equivalent to that, and that's why, because it's a Skinner box kind of thing. Well, not Skinner box. That's the loot box part of it. That's the
loot box part of it. But like if you get the skills to pull off, once you become the Pogger, and then it's like, yeah, that. I do have like one video of the original Overwatch where I was Reinhardt and I got play of the game by like pulling some shit and like wrecking people with like just like good technique. And I was like, okay, that's the pinnacle of what I've ever done in Overwatch, and it's beautiful. And it still makes me happy to this day watching it, but I haven't watched it in a while,
it's a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Because you put up with so much bullshit to get to that point that once you get that one shining moment, it's like, fuck, well, that makes all the, getting steamrolled by a team of people that have played the game way longer than me, that makes it worth it, because I had that one shining moment where I was really good.
Just that one beautiful moment that, like, nobody else will remember it. Your teammates won't remember it because it was just, like, some pickup game, and every time I even tried to play competitive, I just failed miserably, or somebody called me out for being terrible, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I never really joined voice chat either, so that's probably my fault. I should have done that.
I mean, you and I, we played World of Warcraft extensively, so we understand that kind of, like when you feel like a real gangsta, when you feel like a just straight up G, when you fucking do something awesome and you save the team from a wipe, or... Yeah,
like there's one thing that goes wrong and you're like, oh fuck, but then you're like, you sit up straight and then you're like, your eyes are fixed and you're at least on the healing side of things, and I had all of my bars going and I was watching everybody's shit going down, and I would throw spells out that would save them, or throw the... being a hero, grasping that one moment of greatness that it's like, it's imaginary, but fuck.
Isn't everything?
Essentially everything is imaginary. I mean, we're living in a simulation. Every day every day I think more and more about it. Especially being exposed to VR, dude. Oh my god. I've realized, like, yeah, if we get VR games to a certain degree, like, they can simulate real life. It can get to a point where you're sitting with your friend and recording a podcast, and and it's just real life, and you're wondering why nobody's listening to it, and you just have to figure. But it's like, it's because the algorithm is against you the whole time, and it's a challenge that you have to overcome. You just can't see. You can't access your stats menu. You can't access your UI. It's like playing like in Zelda, where you put on like whatever mode and you don't have anything on the screen except Link running around. It's like that is real life, except
yes.
When you're born, you forget the game mechanics and you don't know how to open your menus and stuff. Have you been seeing the... I bring up the VR thing because I get my Instagram ads are very much tailored towards me. I'm getting a lot of anime waifu ads, and I've been getting this thing for like the VR... It's like a treadmill thing that you can like invest in, and it's like...
Oh, yeah.
Like an omnidirectional treadmill with the headset, and so you can... Like, it's getting to that point of like Ready Player One, where you're on the treadmill and you can actually run around in VR instead of getting motion sickness by standing still and using analog sticks. Like, it's developing beyond that. Like, I'm excited. I don't have money to invest in it. I want to, because I want to be able to walk through a VR art gallery and just take a leisurely stroll through the Louvre in VR. I think that'd be cool.
VR, I've had very little experience with it up to this point. I've played games like Boneworks and it was either Boneworks or Bone Labs. I can't remember the difference, but it was very it was a visceral experience. And I've played a little bit of VR chat as well.
Ooh, yeah. Your brother sent me a video about VR chat that he was like, "This is the shit I'm talking about." It's fucking hilarious. I'm like, oh, that's scary.
Was it the one with Brian Griffin? The
yes.
chick was, yeah. Hey, Peter, remember the time that we had a breakup in VR chat? Yeah.
Remember when you got cheated on in VR chat?
Yeah, that. It's amazing that is how online culture has evolved.
Yeah.
That we're
crazy.
now at that point where people have their virtual avatars and their little dramas are playing out in these virtual chat rooms because, I don't know, I guess people need some kind of validation. They always have. It was a thing in like Yahoo chat rooms too. You know, you'd go into like a teenager's chat and people would be bitching about what's going on at school or whatever. They talk about all the drama there.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's a new form of that.
Yeah. I remember you played a little bit of like Second Life, and then you looked up like videos of Second Life shit, and there was the whole like the house of like we're a biker gang. It's like, you can't come in here. This is our clubhouse. Get the fuck out. And like it was a whole thing, and it was like, none of this is real life, dude. Why are you so upset?
And people take that shit so serious, especially when like real money gets involved. That's when it gets and it's the same way with VR chat because according to my brother, there are people that will pay out the wazoo to have people model their avatars, and people can just like get a cheat client and spoof their avatar. So people will pay like $1,000 for this super in-depth furry avatar, like
a commissioned special. Yeah, yes. Like Blender. You created this in Blender for me, and I paid you $150 for it.
Exactly. Yes.
And you could just rip it off and steal it from somebody.
And rip it, yeah, you'd rip it, and then you'd show up as them in the same chat room and, like, start pretending to be them or just trolling them. I mean, that kind of shit has evolved.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Holy
just fucking
shit,
with people
man.
Online hasn't evolved to that point. It's hilarious. It's so funny to watch people do that stuff, but it's also kind of sad to see people take that stuff so seriously. That they'll, like, you know, fucking ruin their lives online by doing it.
Man. That's brutal. Ugh. It's so scary, but at the same time, it's like, exciting. I don't know. It's like if people put half the energy they put into these games into their real life, like, they could be successful. It's just real life sucks dick so hard.
Sure.
Like, it really sucks exercising. It really fucking sucks, like, trying to expand your mind, and, like, reading books is boring as shit nowadays. Like, it's tough. It's fucking tough. But
yeah,
like,
reading books sucks.
Yeah. I read
Nerd.
I read books. I still read books. Okay, I try. I try to read books. I do. I have made it my like nighttime ritual to. I have like a nighttime book light that's like an orange light that in my mind, I think it counteracts all the blue light of screens and stuff. So I'm not on. Even if I am on my phone, like up until bedtime, if I put my phone away, put it on the charger away, and then like I turn on my book light and read a little bit, in my brain that orange light is counteracting all of the light that I get from my phone, and so it makes me sleepy. And that's I don't think that's real science, but at least placebo effect, it works for me. And it gives
isn't
me
there literally an option on our iPhones that like makes the light orange? Like there's a night mode.
Yeah, I know there was.
I
Android,
think there is some science behind that, and changing what the light looks like, the color.
Yeah, but it's like it's like maybe 15 minutes of reading that I get done, and then I'm like, man, I'm sleepy, and it actually like helps me sleep, I think. But yeah, that's the only time I read though nowadays, and I used to read all the time. I should be reading more, but whatever. VR is.
It doesn't help
cool.
that books are so goddamn expensive. They
are. They really are.
Like that last book I bought, Blood Meridian, that was like $30, and it's only a 300-page book. I mean, that's a good-sized book, but, you know, I could knock out 100 pages a day if I really cared to.
Right. Like, if you sat down and made it, like, your activity was reading, like...
Yes.
But it's like, it's so hard to just have one thing to do a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Warhammer has stepped in and taken over as my obsession, is like I can sit down and paint miniatures for a full day, but that's because I'm a psychopath, and you know, eventually it'll wear thin. Once I run out of miniatures to paint, then like, what the fuck am I gonna do? You know, I'm gonna have to find something else. But until then,
there will be no more worlds to conquer.
That's right.
Alexander wept.
What are you gonna do now that you're Elden Lord, dude? What's next for Skyler?
I don't know. Probably New Game Plus. I'll probably focus more on Baldur's Gate.
Nice.
Because I bought it at the same time as I started getting back into Elden Ring, which was probably a bad move. So I started playing Baldur's Gate. I was like, wow, this is really good. But then I made progress in Elden Ring, and I was like, fuck. This is also really good.
Man.
So probably more Baldur's Gate. I also have, I have a couple books coming in that I need to read more. I've been trying to read more instead of sitting on my phone and doom scrolling Reddit or whatever.
Yeah.
I try to read instead, and I feel like it makes me look smarter to, whenever customers come in the store and I'm reading a book and not just sitting there, like, looking at my phone. Yeah. Which, to be fair, I could be reading a book on my phone, but...
You could, but it just doesn't feel the same. Like, I have a bunch of books on Kindle on my phone that, like, I've read, and it was cool. Like, that's how I read Stranger in a Strange Land, I have it on my Kindle, but it's like, if I had a paperback, I feel like I would have... absorb.
I feel like my eyes tire out more when I'm reading books on my phone.
Yeah.
They tire easier, I should say. Whereas when I read a hardback or a paperback novel, it's not as bad. I could knock out 30 to 40 pages in a couple hours, depending on.
It feels good.
If it's like the last book I read, Blood Meridian, that was very dense. I would say that was more of a scholarly book where you kind of have to stop and think about things and reread. I mean, I did. Maybe I'm stupid, but I had to like go back and like reread stuff, even though I like read, and comprehended it. I had to just go back and reread it. But if I'm reading like we've dogged on him before, but if I'm reading a Stephen King novel, I don't have to go back and reread anything at all.
No, yeah, you get. He writes in a very layman's way, for sure.
It's entertaining and it's not like dense. It's not like
Yeah.
reading Dostoevsky or, whatever.
No. That's what I've been rereading, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. I'm gonna, next time I see you in person, I'm probably gonna let you borrow the copy of it, unless you've bought it already. But that's so good. Very good philosophy, Stoicism book that, it's broken down into, because it was just a Roman emperor's journal entries back in the day that were never really supposed to be published, but somehow we still have them. He wrote these around, the year 300 AD, and, 2,000 years later, we're still able to read this dude's thoughts. It's super cool, but there'll be just, paragraphs, and they're broken up into, sections of where he just sat down for the day writing things out to remind himself of things, and it's damn, dude, they're just good ass life lessons to think about.
He was the one that said, even if you are getting your nuts sucked, it's better to act like a gangsta than a fool.
I believe that's in there. I couldn't tell you exactly what passage, but I'm pretty sure that was in there. That it was there is one. It is a fun read. It's some of the passages are very dated because it's there was an idea of you're in charge of your thoughts, and it doesn't matter what the people at Congress say, or what the people in town say, or what your slaves say, or what your children say, and it's just thrown in there oh yeah, slavery was around and was a big deal, and I think he advocates to be good to your slaves, but he never really advocates to free your slaves, because it's that just wasn't an idea back then. So it's a funny thought to think of oh yeah, well, you should be good to your slaves, but I don't have slaves to be good to, so it's maybe treat everyone like your slave, but then treat them good, I guess, is one interpretation. It always comes back to slavery with me. I don't like slavery, you guys. I shouldn't joke about it either. I'm a piece of shit, so whatever.
I do remember one thing from it, and it's love people that you're brought together with despite circumstances, and love them with all your heart. Something like that. Just, if fate, for whatever reason, if the stars deign that you are to be with these people, love them. Don't hate them. Yeah.
That's really the biggest takeaway from Stoicism, or at least from Marcus Aurelius. It was go with nature is the big deal with Stoicism. It's the world and the natural environment live in cohesion with that, and then nature is going to send bad things your way. It's just gonna happen. Do you sit around and complain and cry about the bad things that happen to you? No, because that's a part of nature. Just go with it. And it's stuff like that some of it's kind of hard to apply to modern day, but some of it is just really good thoughts to think. There's one that's, one of the passages is just when you wake up and you're laying in bed and you're man, I don't want to get up. I just want to lay in bed all day. And then you ask yourself is this what you were made to do? As a human being, were you made to lay in bed all day and just stay under the covers where it's warm and comfortable? No. You're a human being. You were put on this earth. You were born to do something. Get up and do it. And it's that's hard to internalize, but it's a beautiful sentiment, and it's a good motivator to get out of bed in the morning of I know, that's what I've been reading recently. I've been working on that again. It's my second time through it, and I'm not taking notes. I should take notes, but whatever. I spend all my time fucking painting miniatures of xenophobic, quote unquote, space marines, so whatever. I guess it's
Whatever
not
makes you
quote-unquote,
happy.
it's-
Whatever gets you through the day.
I guess it's not quote unquote. They literally want to destroy alien races, but whatever. We don't have to get into Warhammer. That's a whole thing. We can talk about that. This is a video game podcast where we talk about video games.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
No, I think we covered a lot of my gripes with the modern video game industry. I mean, I'm glad you brought up the point that there were devs coming out and attacking Baldur's Gate, being like, well, this isn't how we should hold AAA RPG. This isn't a standard that we should hold AAA RPGs to, because this is they're an outlier. They're even though they have less employees than a lot of these AAA studios. I think Larian only has 400 some odd active employees, where like EA has 1,000, something like that. Ubisoft, they've got tons across multiple studios, and it's like Larian put out this game that there's just so much to it, all these branching options. You feel like you have so much choice and whatever in it, whereas all these, I think of the last, Ubisoft RPG I played, fucking Odyssey, which they gave you the illusion of choice, but really it was like pick a female or male character and then either be good or evil. Jeez. And that was it. And there were like certain key points in the game where you could choose to do one thing or another, and there's always an objectively good option. Even The Witcher kind of falls into that. Like,
yeah,
it's good, good writing and stuff, but there's objectively good and bad things that you can do.
Yeah, and then, like,
but it was also good in the fact that there were things that you did earlier on that didn't come into play later. So I think that's a sign of a good RPG, is like if you do something early on that you don't feel like is of any consequence or is a huge consequence, but it does come into play later.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Like, because it's like it remembers what you've done, and it's like your actions have consequences, and that reflects the real world. Like, yeah,
it's like real life. Like, sometimes you just wing it and you pick an option and then you don't think about it, and then all of a sudden, some dude's coming after you because you did some butterfly effect that killed his sister. She got like super AIDS or super cancer from your option. Now he's coming to avenge her.
Yep. You buy that burger
can't plan
at
for that,
and you kill somebody's sister. That's how real life. It's real life, man. That's just how it goes.
It's how I go day to day. Just people collecting blood debts that I have created through my warpath through life.
Man, I want to go on a warpath. No, never mind. I don't want to do that. I'm kidding. Not in real life. That's what video games are for. So that I can act out. I can have my power fantasy and eat my cake too. Mm-hmm. That's the expression, right? Let them have their power fantasies. Anne Boleyn, or no, not Anne Frank. And what is it? Who said that? Mary Curry, maybe.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, who said that?
I don't know. Probably some fucking posh, stuck-up Victorian woman. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I mean, maybe it was Queen Victoria herself.
Anne Boleyn sounds right, but
Anne Boleyn sounds right, but I don't think it's her. Maybe it was. Yeah, it was some. I don't know. It was some Victorian bitch who was like, I don't give a fuck about the serfs who are revolting right now. Ha ha ha. By the way, we all have syphilis. Like that was why they wore the wigs and shit. Was syphilis. That's a big. If you listen to any podcasts, that's what they talk about. So,
is it Marie Antoinette?
Antoinette. That sounds right. It was probably her. That sounds right. Which I guess that quote was also misinterpreted. I've heard, but whatever. History is just lore, and
history is just lore.
Mm-hmm. Just real life lore. Which is boring. It's not as cool as...
Not as cool as video games.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man.
Not as cool as like being an anthropomorphic bandicoot that has a spin and eats Wumpa fruit.
Yeah, it sells Pizza Hut. Shit.
Sells pizza, yeah.
That's the real life, dude, is to be sponsored by Pizza Hut. We just need to, once we get that Pizza Hut sponsorship and we can really cash out.
Pizza Hut needs to like give out Steam keys now or something.
Dude, yeah.
Or like key resellers, like they work with like G2A or whatever it is, that really bad one that just like steals people's credit cards to buy Steam keys. They need to work with those people to give out, you know. Like buy 2 large 2-topping pizzas and you get a free copy of Celeste or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Wasn't there something on the Xbox that like had like the domino? It was like the Domino's button or something, and you could just order Domino's from your Xbox.
The Wii. That
was
was the Wii.
The Wii? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It only worked in Japan, but apparently someone got it to work in America because there was like one store here in America or something that was still connected to the server. I can't remember the exact details, but someone got it to work here in America. They ordered like a pizza from New York.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, we need more stuff like that. I need to be like that. That was the whole, idea behind it. It's like, oh, I'm playing Skyward Sword right now. I kind of feel like having a shitty pizza, so let me go to the Domino's app and order a fucking shit pizza.
Without even getting off my couch. Even though the Wii was like designed for you to not be sitting down. But you could sit down and play it.
Oh, you bet you could.
Oh, yeah.
Most people did.
Oh, yeah. That's why I want that VR treadmill, dude. To get Wii Fit 2, the fitting, make everybody super fit because you have to like run on the treadmill and do like, I don't know, ab crunches or something. I don't know. I've never played Wii Fit 1, so I don't know what the story is, but Wii Fit 2, I think, is going to be the next gen. It's going to be great. VR.
I think the funny thing about Wii Fit was that it was calibrated for Japanese people. So, like, American skinny at the time was Japanese fat. So, like,
nice.
you wouldn't, you'd only weigh like, it would be like a chick and she'd weigh 130 pounds or whatever, but it would be like, oh, morbidly obese.
Just some poor anorexic girl who's like, yeah, I'm finally average. Like,
like, nah, trick. You fat as fuck.
damn.
I think they eventually fixed that with later copies, but that was like a big issue with it because they just didn't calibrate it for American robustness.
Mm-hmm.
We make them big, thick, and tall here.
Nice and, yeah, big, thick Americans. That's my other goal for, I know it's been my goal for the last, like, 5-10 years, is to get a 6-pack, but I really want to get a 6-pack, dude. I just hate doing sit-ups. I hate doing sit-ups so much. But I want a 6-pack. I want it.
Yeah.
I want abs.
Maybe
dude.
you have the genetics for an 8-pack. You don't know until you find out, but some people do legitimately have 8-packs.
Man,
I always thought it was just a thing that like JoJo characters. It was just something you could never attain. It was artistic license, but no, it can happen apparently.
Really?
Like some people have 6-packs, some people could have like an extra set of whatever.
Packs. I don't know.
Abdominal muscles like right beneath your breasts.
Oh,
so you got that extra 2 up there.
The real upper, it's like an extra definition of your upper abs that cuts it into an 8-pack. That's what I want.
I've always wanted to be like fat ripped, like look super fat, like have the same like proportions I have now, but when I take off my shirt, I'm like fat, but like I have a 6-packs, like solid muscle, yeah. Like I just got done lifting the Blarney Stone or whatever. That kind of ripped.
Oof. That'd be sick, dude. You'd be that like strongman ripped, where you're like,
yes.
you're just big, just genetically big, and like you don't look like you're super athletic, but you could like lift a fucking truck without any assistance other than like a weightlifting belt or something on. I don't know.
Right. It's all just solid. It's not like flabby or whatever. It's just solid mass.
Yeah, you're just shaped round. You're shaped like you're just barrel chested, but it's like a legit barrel. That'd be tight.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think that's like just as good as, you know, being super thin cut.
Yeah. I want to get super thin cut. I want to look like Bruce Lee. And then like once I get the body of Bruce Lee, then I get the surgery in my face to look like Bruce Lee. Do the reverse thing that Koreans do, that they get the Americanized eyes or whatever.
Oh, you get the Asian eyes.
You get the Asian eye surgery. I'm sure that there's a way to do that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But until then, I'm just gonna keep fucking playing video games until I become the Elden Lord. Because now that you're Elden Lord, that really makes me want to be the Elden Lord too. So now I need to get back on Elden Ring and finish it.
I mean, if it goes on sale on PC, I'm definitely gonna buy it.
Dude, it's so good on PC.
And I'll play it again.
Oh, it's so good. God damn. Man. But until then, just remember, folks, that Baldur did nothing wrong. And
Baldur's Gate's not real.
Baldur's Gate is a conspiracy. He did
not scare little kids and then drink their blood to get the adrenochrome. He did not do that.
Baldur will not divide us.
All right, I think we can call it.
Yeah.
There.
I know that. What do you...
This is for all the times I got grounded!
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Ah! I could almost feel his balls on my fist! Come on, baby, kiss me. Kiss me. Kiss me, Mario!
I wrote a blog post a while ago about why I hate video games, because this is what it does. It appeals to like the male fantasy.